reader understand what we are reading. So in short, textual aids, these are educational instruments, could be written text or printed text, and other ways of emphasizing the essential phrases, thoughts, graphs, and or images. Questions with the definition of textual aids? No. Do you understand the meaning of textual aids before we move on to our next part? Question? None? Do you really understand the meaning of textual aids? Really? Alright, so as we move on to our discussion, let's proceed to the different types of textual aids. First, we need to talk about the title. So, are you familiar with title? Am I correct? Are you familiar with that? Alright, so when we speak about title, this is actually the gist, or it gives the gist of the story. Alright? So as you can see, title to the devil. This is actually to give emphasis with the readers. Alright? Did you get it? Alright, next is graphic organizer. What do we mean by graphic organizer? Well, given the fact that textual aids and graphic organizer is quite the same with each other, but according to textual aids, this is actually the general term, wherein graphic organizer can be applied or simply to emphasize more using maps or a lot of graphic organizer. What do we mean by graphic organizer? Graphic organizer, it demonstrates relationship between facts, concept, and ideas. So, anyone, can you give me at least one example of graphic organizer? Yes, Laila. What do you want me to call you at the back? Girl at the back. Yes. Yes, please stand up. Laila, what do you want me to call you? Grisha. Alright, so can you give me an example at least one graphic organizer you know? Barbara. Alright, so do you agree with Grisha? Barbara? No. Is she correct? No. Alright, so another one, Barbara is actually an example of graphic organizer, followed by the cause and effect. What is cause and effect? Cause and effect emphasize the connection between the different concepts. So as you can see, we follow one patterns in doing the cause and effect diagram. So we can simply put cause versus effect, or effect versus cause. Alright? So question so far with the 3 examples of textual aids. Question. Do you understand the examples of the 3 first examples? Do you understand? Question. None? Alright, so let's proceed. Another one is a flowchart. So this is actually an example of flowchart, where when we speak about in communication or in oral communications. So as you can see, this is actually an example of flowchart. What is flowchart? A flowchart is actually a graphic or symbolic representation of a process. It has a sequence. It's flowchart. Alright? So that's simple as that. Alright? And next one, example of textual aids for graphic organizer is actually the fibra. Fibra. So how much water do we use? So what do we mean by fibra? Fibra is actually a circular chart which is divided into slices. So are you familiar in doing your research? I think you were familiar with that. Alright? Am I correct? You're familiar in doing a graph. So I think during your math class, way back when you were in elementary and discussing, in doing an activity in mathematics, you will use a graphing paper to graph or to examine a text using graphing organizer or using graphs. Alright, so let's proceed to this one. This is actually a very common textual aid. This is what we call a concept map. So what do we mean by concept map? This is central about when it's matching characteristics, rather. So as you can see, like for example, if I'm giving you a word, if I give you a word, the word typhoon. So can you please describe it as, or have you heard the word typhoon before? So some students say it's all about weather, storm, rain, clouds, something like that. So as you can see, you're able to connect. You're able to connect the characteristics out of the central thought, which is in the central part. So I make myself clear. Question? None? Really? Alright, so let's proceed to the last part. Last one is actually a timeline. A timeline is graphic representation of the passage of time. Simple as time. Alright, so timeline. So I think you are very familiar with the meaning of timeline, isn't it? Very good. Questions so far with an example of textual aids before we proceed to the next part. Question. Really? Do you really understand? Alright. Can you please stand up? Yes. Yes. What do you want me to call you? Alice? Alex. Alright, so can you give me at least one example of textual aids? Can you give me an example, at least one example of textual aids? Graphic organizer. And you said graphic organizer. Can you please elaborate some of the examples of graphic organizer? Can you give me one? Okay, very good. Pie chart. So that is one of the examples of graphic organizer. So questions so far? None. So these are the examples of textual aids. Now, we will proceed to the purpose of textual aids. So there are 5 purposes of textual aids. Can you please, may I hear the voice of, yes, the girl at the back. What do you want me to call you? What's your name? No. Yes.
Judy Lynn.
What's her name?
Judy Lynn.
Judy Lynn. Am I correct? Alright, so can you please read the purpose of textual aids? Alright, so yes, Marina, can you please read the purpose of textual aids? Thank you so much, Julie.
The purposes of textual aids are to give an overview of vital information, to show relationship of different text elements, to add numerical data to some given verbal information, to provide a summary of the main points, and to provide visual variety of range.
Okay, thank you so much. So, question with the purpose of textual aids. So to sum it up, textual aids, these are the instruments used to convey the readers textual aids, these are the things or components of the story to make the words more visible to the readers in order for us, or in order for the readers to clearly understand what's the main point of the author. And there are different types of textual aids. And these are the purposes of textual aid. Question. Are you sure you don't have questions? Since you don't have questions, let's proceed to your task number 1, which is hear the aid. So, directions. Pay close attention to the recorded tape, and after you listen to the recorded tape, you will answer the guide question. Are all the instructions clear and easy to understand? Alright, so let's proceed.
Daedalus and Icarus. Daedalus and Icarus by Nick Pontigas. Daedalus' name means skilled worker because he is a famous architect, inventor, and master craftsman known for having created many objects that figure prominently in various myths. He had a beloved son named Icarus. Among the many inventions and creations crafted by Daedalus were the wooden cow he constructed for Queen Pasiphae, the labyrinth of the Minotaur of Knossos on the islands of Crete, artificial wings for himself and his son Icarus.